I do have a question for today now on the sweater.
Yes, certainly.
Whenever you're ready for questions.
It's 2:30, so let's begin.
Okay. So I'm actually going down the sleeve and then just start. I'm gonna make it as a cardigan. I ordered both the crew neck and the Henley, so I can put those two together to make it a cardigan.
Oh, you didn't need to do that. You could have just used the Henley, unless you wanted the deeper crew neck. Did you want the deeper crew neck? Oh, I see.
Yes, because I did make the neckline a little bit deeper. I was worried about it being too high. So anyway, so at the shoulder pickup, okay? And then picking up for the sleeve, on half of the stitches where I picked up, the stitches don't go continuously across. There's like a half a stitch difference. When you pick up for the sleeve, do you pick up a stitch and a half on one side to make it smoother? Does that make sense?
I know what you mean. No, when you pick up across the top of the shoulder on the top of the sleeve cap.
Yes.
One is a little longer than the other. If you notice, one might be 13 rows and the other one's only 12 rows. I tell you how many rows there are on the back and the front is always one row longer.
Okay.
But you don't pick up one stitch for every row.
Right.
And so what are you suggesting? What are you asking?
Mike, I have terrible lighting in this room, unfortunately.
Well, that's
good.
Let
me see if I can make this. Can you see where the stitches are picked up on the sleeve cap? Is that clear enough?
No, I can't see.
Okay.
Well, but it basically is, you divide the number of stitches in half.
That's not the problem.
Okay.
Okay, the problem is where they're picked up at the top, going across the sleeve edge. On the sleeve edge, I picked up behind one stitch, okay? But
behind the selvage stitch, right?
Right, but there's like a half a stitch off from the back to the front. Can you see that now there?
Oh, I think I know what happened. When you picked up the stitches for the front, did you pick them up in the middle of the stitches in the back? Or did you pick up between the stitches in the back?
Well, I thought I picked up across one stitch on the back and the front.
But I'm thinking in the selvage stitch on both ends.
So I should have picked up like a half a stitch on one side.
No, you should not.
Well, I don't know what I did wrong then. Because it's like there's like an extra half a row in part of the seam, and I can maybe scan it or take a photo and send it to you.
Wait, where is the extra half row? Point to the extra half row.
Let me make sure I'm telling you. It's on the back. Okay, so it's right here. You can see right here, there's a little jog there, right at where the seam, or where the second shoulder is picked up. If that makes sense. I'm trying to do this and I'm going backwards.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's really hard to point to something when it's backwards.
It is. So your shoulder pickup is along one stitch all the way from the front to the back.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, well, mine's not. Mine's like a half a stitch off on the back.
Why is it a half a stitch off?
I don't know.
I mean, you can pick it up inside the selvage. I mean, It's just between the selvage and the first stitch. Are we
Right.
talking about the same thing? Where in the column of
Yes.
stitches to pick up?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
between the selvage and the first stitch on both the
Okay.
back and the front.
Okay.
So
And
where's
that
the
gives you
extra
a
half stitch? Yeah, that
that
should give you a
see, I
continuous
have it.
line.
I
Yeah.
have a continuous knit column from front to back across the shoulder.
That may be the problem.
Oh, you stagger it there?
It's supposed, that means you picked up between stitches, which puts you a half stitch off at one end.
Yes, but then so
Did you have the right number of stitches?
oh, I don't remember. I thought I did, but I was trying to get the knit column to go continuously over the shoulder.
It doesn't. This
Ah!
is one of the flaws of the pattern.
Okay,
And most
but
people don't catch that. You're very intelligent about knitting because
okay,
you get the dreaded 11s, but they barely
yeah.
show. You're trying
Okay.
to avoid
All
the dreaded
right.
11s.
All right. So I will know that on the next time. But then you
Yes,
get a smooth shoulder pickup.
that's right. You do. That's right. And what we call the dreaded 11s just barely show when you
Okay.
do it that way.
Well, I'm not going to rip this one out.
Now,
I will live with it because I'm down. Like I said, I'm ready to
Yeah.
start in the body and creases. So it's good. But now I learned a very important lesson.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Most people don't know about that issue, and so you're just telling me you are more advanced than you think you are.
I just finished all those shoulder seams.
Well, you've taken a lot of classes from TKGA, I see.
I have, yes.
So you have learned a lot along the way.
Okay, I will continue on.
Yes, that's the problem. You pick up in the middle of the stitches, or else it's
Okay.
going to be a half stitch off on one side.
Let me think about it. Maybe I will rip it back.
Oh, I don't think it's that important. It will. I
But
really
it does not look good on the sleeve cap because of
really?
that bump there.
Let me see it. Let me see it. You know what? I'm going to tell you what Arinda Holiday tells me when I point out something like that. She says, "You're the only person who will see that. Just go ahead."
Well,
Really,
unless,
you nobody else will notice that but you.
well, that's true. But
Oh my,
how much will
you're
it bother me?
perfectionist. Oh, that's you're going really well.
And blocking is going to help that
And
too.
blocking helps a lot with that shoulder. It looks like it's pooching
Yes.
up, it always looks like that. People
Yeah.
complain about it a lot, and I say, block the shoulder. And
Mhm.
what I do is I stick a small pillow into the shoulder and block just those picked up stitches and block it flat. And after that, it just looks really smooth.
Yeah.
And try blocking it like that and see, just use a steam blocking, like a steam iron on it.
Mhm.
And, without touching it, of course, but just the steam, and see if that still bothers you.
Okay.
It's nice to meet you, Maris.
We actually have met before. We
Oh,
met
have
in
we?
Dallas one year.
Oh, did we?
It was
Oh,
you and I and Judy Von Bon and Heather Storta had dinner at a Mexican restaurant one
oh
night.
yes. Oh yes, I remember now.
But that's a while ago.
Yeah, I didn't remember your name and didn't recognize your face.
That's okay.
So everybody's wondering why I know Maris when she's never been here before. And that's because Maris is working on her master's certificate for TKGA. And just last week, I picked up my latest package to review and started reviewing it, and it's Maris's. And so when I saw her name Maris, I asked her last name so I would know if she was the same person, and she is. So I am actually in the middle of reviewing her level 2 submission.
Very scary.
Well, we welcome you.
Thank you.
So, David, how are you coming?
Well, I just re-reviewed the next section on what amounts to sleeve cap shaping. So I had a week to sort of work on it and digest it. So thank you for your help. Um, Here's my question. It occurs to me a couple of things. One, my my needles are not long enough, I don't think, to create those magic loops. So I have just finished.
Wait, no, that looked plenty long to me.
Well, you're asking for 2 loops, and that's everything that I have.
You only need one at a time.
Okay,
When you
okay,
go, and it's only for a couple of rows, and after that, you won't need them anymore.
okay. Well, I do have a longer needle.
No, you don't really need it. You want to stay with the shorter one so that when you can move it and put it in a circle, they all fit on the needle.
Okay, okay, I'll leave that. I just finished the 10 pickup, so that if I don't need to change needles, then I will just go to the next step. So it said
Yeah.
to knit 2 together, and then you have to put um, and then knit across the back. So I'm assuming that
You
that's
started with an SSK though, right? There was an SSK before you did the sleeve cap. You've
uh,
already picked them up.
I don't know. Hang on a second, and let me just see. I'm trying to go. I'm at the page that says "Do not turn work,"
Okay. And
and
then
I don't
and
see.
it says pick up stitches. No, there's
Yeah,
no. Okay. I was going ahead to the K2 together, which I
okay,
thought was the next round.
yeah, and I just put the 2K together, and it says that I go to 2 stitches before the end. I think I have the right shape now.
Wait, there's no end. So where are you? Let me look at your pattern and see where you
Okay,
are. What's your sweater number, if you don't mind
sure.
reminding me?
Um, where do I look to find that?
Oh, it's on the last page of your pattern at the very bottom. It's the very last line.
Okay.
It says sweater number
728.
728.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I have your pattern. It's crew neck sweater for David. First is the name.
Yeah.
And you have just, you're beginning the sleeve caps. You're in the section called begin the sleeve caps. Or are you in the section called sleeve cap shaping?
Um, I just reviewed the construction tip,
What does it say?
uh, and I went to YouTube and looked at something called 2 shoulder shaping.
Two shoulder shaping. Is that
Row
mine?
2, row 2,
Wait,
construction tip.
no, tell me what the construction note says. That'll help me find where you are.
Okay. Okay. Construction tip. It says construction tip. Is that what you mean? Oh, if I
Oh.
go on to a construction note, which is on the next page.
See, I don't have pages. I'm looking at it online and there are no
Sure,
pages.
sure.
I need to know section titles or,
Yeah, construction note, sleeve cap shaping, to work the following in, no, I know I'm not that far.
where are you?
Just,
Which construction note is close to you?
just a second. I need to rearrange myself.
Okay,
I'll tell you where I ended. That's probably gonna make,
yes.
that's gonna make the most sense. The construction note was a demonstration on the next step, pick up stitches for front. And I went through all that.
You faded out as you were saying what the note says.
Oh, okay, hang on a minute.
Voice faded out. I think you turned away from your microphone or something.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. Let me get this in a better order before I start rambling. The neck shaping, wait a minute. I went through all of that, which was the neck shaping, front neck shaping, and I ended up creating what looked like a hole for the head, like this. So I had a piece of knitting here, and I connected the two. That's the last thing I actually did by
Okay.
casting on the 18 stitches.
Okay.
Does that
And
make
so
sense?
you did the row called neck joining row.
Yes. And I
And
just
it
finished.
says, and notice that row ends with an SSK. Did you see that?
Yes. Yes.
Knit to 2 stitches. That's the SSK I thought you were talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I
And-
did that.
Okay. And then it says, now you're positioned at the left front shoulder edge. And there are 9 rows up from the cast on edge on the
Yes.
front.
Yes. And I wrote the word yes. So I'm now at that next construction note.
Okay. So
And
now
I
you're ready to pick up stitches across the shoulder cap.
and while waiting for the class to start, I did that.
You did pick them up.
I
Do
picked them up.
not turn,
I did
continuing
not
around the
turn.
shoulder, place marker, pick up and knit 10 stitches. And then there's your K2 together that you just said.
Yes.
Yes. And then is that where you are after that
Yes.
K2 together?
Yes.
All right. What's your question?
All right. Now, then my question is, it says knit across the back.
Yeah.
Does that mean
Just keep knitting.
here and all the way along here?
Just keep knitting. Keep going in the same direction you were going when you picked
Okay.
up the stitches. Remember, it pointed out you were at, look at me, you were at the left front shoulder and you did the SSK,
Yes.
and then you picked up stitches across the shoulder.
Yes.
Now you're going to knit across the back. So you just continue in the same direction.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this is where you probably will need to pull out a magic loop in the middle of the picked up stitches in order to make that curve. Your needle won't fit around the curve.
I seem to be able to do it. There's not a
Oh,
great big, yeah,
No,
yeah.
wait. What I mean, at where your needles in the stitches you just picked up,
Yes.
pull a magic loop out of those stitches in the middle of them. There were 10 of them.
Yeah.
5 stitches back, create a magic loop.
Okay.
That's enough, just enough to get the needles tips to fit together in a way that you can knit. Otherwise, you can't, your needles are too long to fit around the curve and you can't just knit around it. That's what it's telling
Yeah.
you.
And just a word of warning to myself. You asked me to tear off, throw away on the left side, rip off the second ball and stuff. So I have all these loose little ends.
Oh yeah, you'll
Does
weave
that make
those in.
sense?
Yep, you'll weave those in at the end.
Okay.
You end
I
up
didn't
with
see
about,
that on your demonstration, so I thought, well,
oh, well, it keeps telling you to start new ones and break the old ones. And so every time it tells you to break a yarn,
yeah,
that's going to leave an end that you'll have to weave in later.
yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm just
So
going to
you
knit.
don't see anything about that till the last instruction
Okay.
where it says block, weave in ends and block or something like that on the last
All right.
instruction.
It's fairly easy to knit. I'm not having any trouble as far as the needles are concerned.
Good.
So when it gets tight or something, I just create a loop to accommodate
You do that
myself.
on just like you just did.
Yeah.
You'll do that at the other end after you pick up stitches across it.
Now it fell off that. Do you remember when it said
What
to
fell
put
off?
the marker?
Oh,
There was a marker, BOR marker. I
you
should.
need you need to keep all those 4 markers. They're important markers.
And eventually there will be 4 of them because
Yes.
I'm,
One marks the beginning of the sleeve cap on the left side. The other one marks the end of the sleeve cap on the left side back. And then the same on the right side back and the right side front. Those will be your 4 markers. You're doing the crew neck sweater, right?
yes,
Then the BOR will be the one that the last one you add. It will be the, or maybe you added it first. I can't remember when it tells you to add it, but the one on the front right shoulder.
okay.
is
And
the BOR.
and I'm not there yet. So I'm
Okay.
just finishing the left shoulder, getting to the what I think of as the connective.
Uh-huh. And you're going to
Okay,
knit
so I'm just
across
going to go
that
across here, and then I'll be at the right.
right back, and then you'll pick up stitches across it. You haven't already picked them up, have you?
No,
Okay.
I've only
Yep.
picked up on one side.
All right. Then, well, you're about to pick up the other as soon as you get across the back.
All right.
Perfect. Very good.
So let me just in peace and quiet myself while you all talk among yourselves.
Okay.
Let me knit.
Now, I have to tell you all that I've had a very rough week health-wise. If you recall, I had the sniffles last Saturday. It turned into a terrible cold that completely wiped me out and kept me in bed for days. And I'm just getting my strength back, and I tire very easily. And so I don't know if I'm going to make it through the hour, but you can probably hear it a little bit in my voice. I'm still a little husky. So if I say, well, I'm really getting too tired, I may have to leave early.
Oh dear. Was
And
it like
Jenny-
the flu,
Jenny,
was it?
No, it's not the flu. It's not COVID. I actually got tested last Saturday morning. I was really glad I did, because by Tuesday I thought surely this is COVID. And it took them 5 days to get the results back. But when I got it, I was negative. So it's not COVID. It's
Oh.
just a really, really bad cold.
Oh dear.
Jenny, I want to tell you that I really appreciate your contribution to the newsletter, and I haven't had the energy to get it out, but it'll be coming out very soon.
Yeah. No,
Thank
no,
you
that's
so much.
fine. That's okay. Yeah. Who else? I can only ever see one person on the screen at a time on my settings. So who else is here tonight then?
Let's see. There is Maris.
I saw Maris earlier, yes.
You saw David Turner. Kay
Yeah.
Baker is here.
Okay, he's
Brad-
here. All right.
And hi, Kay.
Hi.
And Bradley is here. Hi, Bradley.
Oh, hello.
And
Hello,
Rana is
Bradley.
here. Hi, Rana.
Hi, Rana.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
I hope everybody else is doing well health-wise.
Yes,
Yeah.
good. Thank you. Yes.
I'm not even in my usual library setting, so I'm just
Yeah,
setting
you
up where I could.
looks
should have
nice, nice and bright.
Yes.
You should have your jammies on.
Well, I did until this morning.
It is horrible when you just feel as though you have no energy to do anything, and just the mere act of going to the bathroom and back just shatters you, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, at least we can't catch it over the Zoom call, so that's
that's
good.
right. If you got a cold, you didn't get it from me. But I've heard that it's going around, and I heard that it's also going around in the UK. Have you heard
Yes.
anything about it, Jenny?
Yes, yes. I've 3 of my work colleagues are off poorly at the moment with colds and chest infections and sore throats.
But they don't have COVID.
No, they're
It's
all
not COVID.
negative for COVID. It's just a really nasty cold.
Yeah.
And I was in the office 3 days this week, so I'm just a bit worried that I was near them all, but we'll just have to wait and see. I
Need a flu
might have to commit murder.
Maybe
Somebody-
a flu shot is in order.
I had mine. This is not the flu. I had mine before we went to Europe because we were afraid we'd be exposed to COVID and the flu in Europe. And instead we came back with a bad cold.
Too
Andrew
bad they
has
don't-
it too.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
husband has.
Too bad they don't have a plain old cold shot.
I know. Why don't we have that yet?
been around too long.
Yes.
Yeah. It just
Bradley.
mutates so quickly, a cold, doesn't it? You know, you give it to
Yes.
one person and it
Yes,
mutates slightly. So you just never ending with that. Yeah.
that's right.
Do you
Bradley,
feel,
I'm sorry. What's the matter?
do you
Chris?
feel like knitting when you're sick?
I did do some knitting. I'm still designing the sweater that I'm going to do
Mm,
next. And I believe I showed you the front of it last
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
week. I don't know if it was completely finished, but here, I'll put me in the spotlight. This will be the front.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's
It's a
Lovely.
V-neck sweater with cables down the sides of the V-neck that go into a cable down the front of the sweater.
Looking good.
That's beautiful.
And then on the back, I'm going to do something different. The same cable comes down off of the shoulders. And of course,
Ooh.
because it's the back, the V is filled in with stockinette. And then I'm going to bring it to that point. I'm just going to merge the
Love
two.
it.
And that will not go all the way down the back. That'll be on the back.
Oh, that looks
Beautiful.
really
Yeah.
nice.
So
Love
that'll
that.
just sit between the shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. It's going to come
Lovely.
right between
Very
the
nice.
shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Will that cable in the center go all the way down to the bottom?
No, this
Good.
one,
Mhm.
this one stops right, that you can see it stops at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put a tassel on it.
Yes. I'll put a tassel on it.
What yarn are you using?
This is not the yarn I'm using. This is yarn from my stash left over from my last sweater, which was actually Ron's yarn that I used last time. But I have ordered some it's called DK Pure by Biscott Yarns. I've never used it. I'm hoping it works.
Are the
I-
tech
I had a
Or-
sample of it and I did knit with it and I liked how it felt. So I think it will work.
What's it made of?
Merino and silk, 10%
Ooh.
silk.
Nice.
Nice. Slick.
Yeah.
and you
That
said
should
it
give it a
was
nice drape, shouldn't it, the silk?
I'm sorry.
I said that should give it a nice drape, the silk.
I hope so. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else said something too.
you
Yeah.
said Biscott?
BISCOTTE yarns.com. Let me make sure I got that right. Yes. BISCOTTE yarns.com. And I'm using something they call DK Pure.
I like that artwork over your right shoulder.
Let me see, what are you seeing over my right shoulder?
On the kitchen. Oh,
The one
To the-
over that you can hardly see on the wall.
Uh-huh.
I painted that.
You hate it?
I painted it.
Oh, you're kidding. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Before I
spent-
got into knitting, I took up art for 2 years.
Mm,
and I was painting and drawing.
the colors are terrific.
I don't know if you can tell, but it's an enlarged picture of a bowl of fruit.
Yeah. Looks nice.
Let me see if I can take it off the wall and show it to you.
Oh, good.
Oh,
There.
that's nice.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yum, yum. I'll have some.
Was that done in oils?
There. I couldn't hear what anybody might have said.
Lovely. What was your medium?
um, oil paints.
Very nice.
I also did some charcoal drawings and some colored pencil drawings, but I really preferred to work in oil paints.
Mhm.
But you know, you have to have a studio, you have to go to the studio, it takes a lot of setup, a lot of materials. And at some point I thought, this can't be my permanent hobby. I need a hobby that I can just sit down and do at home. And that's when I thought, I think I'll try knitting. And here I am. That
We're
was in
so
about
happy you did.
20, let me think, that was, I think, about 2015 or 16. I started the master's program in 2015, so I guess it was before that. And I worked on it for 2 years.
Well, the
So do you?
the Impressionists had the same problem because tubed painting, oil inside of tubes, hadn't been invented until they came along. And so they could pack their easels and go outside and paint instead of having these huge studios where big productions had to happen in order to create the paint itself. Came
Yeah.
out of bladders. It was just awful.
Oh, yes.
So the Impressionists made all that oil painting in a hurry possible.
My daughter is actually an internationally known oil painter. She's built a reputation that has extended around the world. And she was a little while ago, she was invited to come to Italy for an opening of a show in Italy that was showcasing artists from around the world that were selected for the show. Her pictures have also been on the covers of books, and she's had many magazine articles written about her.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
You must be very proud.
I am.
Yeah.
I'll put her website up so you can take a look at it.
Apple didn't fall far from.
All right. I'll put it in chat.
Got it.
To anyone watching this video later, I will also put the link in the comments below the video.
That's a good idea.
So she also teaches online?
She does. She does.
Wow.
She actually, she and her husband started an art school,
Uh-huh.
I think 12 years ago. That was a brick and mortar art school, and it grew to the point, her husband was the administrator and she was the primary teacher. And then she trained other teachers who taught with her. And at the end, she had 6 teachers working in the school. It was very successful.
Wow.
And then a few years before that, before she ended the school, she started teaching classes online. And they have become so popular that the school was making less and less money, and because the price,
Oh.
the cost of real estate in San Francisco was going up and up and up,
Yeah.
and the online classes were making more and more money, so they closed down the school 2 years ago, and they have been just living off of her classes that she teaches online.
How about that?
She's an excellent teacher. Talking about the apple not falling far from the tree. She loves it as much as I do.
Uh-huh. It's so
Phrancko,
nice to have family um, things that you have in common and that you can share with and talk about.
Yes, it is.
can you guys hear me?
Yes, David, what's up?
Well, when I went to your daughter's, Sadie's newsletter and then tried to come back, I seem to have lost you, even though I can hear you. Is there
Oh,
something?
yes. Can you find the icon for Zoom at the bottom of your screen? Well, I don't know what kind of computer you're on, but
We can see you.
we can see you. You just
Can
have to
you?
you have to bring Zoom to the foreground in your computer, or minimize your browser window.
What computer are you in?
Just a PC Lenovo. Oh, there I am. Never mind. Never mind.
Kay, what are you working on these days?
Well, you know, my progress got stalled for a while because my husband fell hiking and broke his shoulder in 4 places. So
Yeah.
I'm now full-time nurse, but
Ooh,
Oh my, look at that.
beautiful.
on sleeve.
Oh, wow.
So here I am doing my sleeves,
Oh,
that the
that's
stripes
great.
match, notice. And got my bottom.
Oh, how pretty.
I still have to do the invisible bind off. I
Oh.
decided that I wanted to work on something else for a while, so I'm doing sleeves. Before I tackle that, I get disturbed too many times.
Yeah.
So I thought the sleeves would be more fun to do, and they are.
It looked a little like you left in the waist yarn after you picked up stitches around your sleeve. Did you intend to do that?
Yes, it's pinned in there.
Oh, you don't need
Yeah.
to do that. You don't need to have that waist yarn there unless you have a reason you want to do it for striping
Oh, the
purposes.
waist, this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I have it there for counting,
Oh, right. That's a reason to do it. Sure.
so I can be sure that I'm matching. I've
That's
got
right.
everything numbered, but you know, and I'm recording every row,
Uh-huh.
but I still want the marker there just to be able to count rows,
Right.
make sure I'm doing them exactly the same.
Every
So I
time
thought,
I've ever
I
tried
started
to
to tear them
count,
out, then I went, no, leave them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every time I've tried to count, every time I finish a row, after I'm done, I've always missed 3 or 4 or 5 rows. I can't remember to do it every time I come to my marker. It just
Yeah,
isn't possible.
I'm using quick knit companion, so I
Uh-huh.
can just tap
I
it
see.
every row.
Oh, well, that's good.
So
Kay,
That's
what is the yarn you're using? It's gorgeous.
thank you. I love this. It's I never say the word right, Mahler Bridge.
Malabrigo?
Yeah, it's Arroyo, and it's two different colors. One is glitter, and one is I don't remember the name of it, but it's a green that's in the glitter. So the two colors actually work very well together because the brown color has some of the green in it.
Gorgeous.
They do work well together.
Yeah.
So they
Get
So
that.
pretty.
go very well together.
That is really nice.
I had made a scarf using these colors with a red in the same yarn, which I love this yarn. I've got a lot of it. And that's when I decided, yeah, I'll make a sweater with the green and the gold, because although this wouldn't be my choice for the color of a sweater, but it's what I did the test deeper crew neck with, and I just decided to keep going. So here I am.
There you go.
And my next one will be for my husband, and it's going to be a Fair Isle V-neck.
Wow.
Oh, I'll be downloading that one soon.
Wow.
I actually think I'll start that before I finish this one, so I can be working on it toward Christmas.
Are you following a pattern for that?
I'm making my pattern because I've made several Fair Isle garments.
Oh,
And so I'm picking, because I've looked at a lot of patterns trying to find the perfect one. And then when I discovered you and your sweaters, and that I can adapt them however I want to,
oh.
I decided I'll use your
Oh,
your
so it's going to be a
pattern.
Phrancko sweater. V-neck.
Yeah. Yes, it's going to be a Phrancko,
You
and
know,
I'm
being a
just going to
V-neck, you're going to be
incorporate.
doing a lot back and forth until you get the neck closed. Are you comfortable doing Fair Isle on both sides?
Yes, I'm gonna do a solid top, most likely,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's,
start the Fair Isle right below the,
you know, that's what I've done on many of my designs.
yeah.
Wait till the neck is closed and then do the fancy work.
Exactly. Yeah, I've done a long turtleneck, starting with the Fair Isle, a cowl, way up here, and I didn't have any problems with it at all. But for his, I want to do the solid top and then start the stripes right under the arms.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good.
and I'm really anxious to get started on that. It's going to be 3 colors, so
Nice.
it'll be fun. And I'm so delighted that I can use your pattern instead of those that I just didn't like them. I just didn't find it the perfect pattern. So I thought, well, now I'm smart and I have great teachers.
And you can design your own and make it the
I
perfect
can
pattern
design
for
my own.
yourself.
And if I have questions, I know who to call.
Oh, there's somebody to ask, or a group to ask, actually. This group
Exactly.
answers questions for
The
everybody.
whole community.
Yeah,
Right.
isn't that great?
It is.
Speaking of which, I should mention, I'm sorry to say Cindy is not here because her mother fell and broke
Oh.
her hip.
Oh,
And because of COVID, they can't get her into a hospital.
Oh,
So she's staying at home with her sister, and she's staying at the same place so that the two of them can take care of her mother.
oh my
And
goodness.
she says she's had no time to knit and she won't be able to be here this week.
Bless her heart.
It could
That's
be-
so,
Yeah, I feel so bad for her. And
oh yeah. And especially breaking a hip when you're elderly, not a good thing.
no, it's not a good thing.
If you email her, send her all our regards. Just say we're
Yeah.
thinking of her. Yes.
Oh, I will. Okay?
absolutely.
She said she would watch the video when she got a chance, so
Oh,
she'll hear us on the video as well.
okay.
Yeah, we'll send her a little love note. a little sympathy note. Oh, goodness. Uh, Bradley, what are you working on?
I'm back working on my husband's Phrancko sweater. And I'm actually to the bottom ribbing. Well, it's not ribbing. I decided to do garter ridges on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So it's big. I have welts going down the shoulders, but I didn't want it to poof out
Uh-huh.
on the bottom for him. So I figured that looks good enough. That'll look good.
Oh, yeah, it
That'll
will.
look great.
Yeah.
And of course, you won't use the invisible rib bind off since it's not ribbing. You can just use the standard bind off after you've done garter stitch.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Invisible.
So I need to learn how to do it though.
Yeah, but it's not appropriate unless you're using 1x1 rib.
Yeah.
There is a variant that you can do 2x2 rib or anything else, but I don't know how to do it. I've never worked
I
with
saw
that.
it. I looked at it. I saw it 2 days after I finished converting my 2x2 to 1x1. And
Okay.
that was another reason I decided to wait on the invisible bind off, because I had done the conversion from 2x2 to 1x1. Boy, that was a pleasure. But not it had a great rhythm to it. Once you got it going, it was not hard, but
Oh, the 1x1 is really,
yeah,
it's so
converting
repetitive.
from 2x2 to 1x1.
Yeah, that'll be a little difficult.
Suzanne has a really good video on it, fortunately.
Oh, good.
Yeah. You feel like you need to go, Frank? We don't want you to overdo yourself.
Well, we're almost near the end of the hour. I can hang on another 10 minutes or so. It's always so nice to spend time with you all.
It's always so nice to be with this fun little group of just knitting.
Yes. And Kathy Zoller also has been traveling for a couple of weeks. She went to Yosemite and she said
Oh, nice.
she was going to try to make it today, but she wasn't sure she would be able to. So apparently she hasn't made it, but she'll be back. Kathy is, I think you all probably know, Kathy and I are talking about collaborating together, and she has incorporated the Phrancko design into her website with my blessing and encouragement. And someday she may take over Phrancko.com. We have yet to work that out, but as I get older, I'm probably not going to do this for another 100 years.
Oh, you'd be surprised. The older you get, the more fun it is.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's for sure.
What is her website?
It's called knitwiz.com.
Okay.
And it's another website where you can put in your measurements and it will create a pattern that is custom fit for you. It's the only other one I know of now that Amy Herzog doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
And we met at Stitches West a year and a half ago, and I came across her booth and I said, I'm fascinated by what you're doing, but full disclosure, I have to tell you, I'm doing a website that does a similar idea. So I don't want you to feel like your competition. I would like to find out what you're doing and maybe we could end up working together. And she said, oh, that's fine. I'm happy to show it to you. So we just kind of bonded that day and we've talked ever since.
That's
Creating a bigger pie.
Yes,
yeah.
that's right. I don't feel any need to. People sometimes ask me, well, did you ever patent this idea, the Phrancko sweater? No, I don't want to do that. I hope the idea spreads. I'd like it to become one of the accepted ways to knit a set-in sleeve sweater. And so
so good to have a sweater that actually fits correctly,
Yeah,
not just in one place.
that's right.
It is addictive. I will say that. Every time I think of doing a sweater, I'm like, okay, which Phrancko am I going to do?
This may not be an issue, but can I hold it up to you so you can see what
Uh-huh.
appears to be? I'm knitting along
Yes,
the second side,
yes.
and there is this apparent hole there. Is that
That
something
doesn't
I've
look
gone
right.
back to try to tighten it up? I've moved it back and it seems
Did
to
you
remain.
drop a stitch there or
It's a
anything?
yarn over, I bet.
Well, it doesn't, it looks like it's a knitted one, so do I need to bring,
It doesn't look right, that's for sure.
and I'm just wondering if perhaps, um,
Is that on the back? Are you still knitting across the back?
I think, just a second.
You haven't picked up the other sleeves yet.
Yes, yes, I just finished picking up the other sleeve.
And so is that
I
on the side that you just finished or the one you're coming to?
This is the one which would be the right
Yes.
shoulder, and I
Is
just
it the front
finished
or
that.
the back? Is it the front or the back? You knitted across the
I
back.
think it's the back. It looks long.
You knitted
Okay.
across the back.
If I knitted first, starting on the left side, I went across. I can't seem to distinguish left from or back from front yet. It just doesn't quite.
Okay, when you started picking up stitches, before you picked up the very first stitch, you
Yeah.
are at the left front shoulder.
Okay.
Point to your left front shoulder. No, on you, like this. Okay. You were on your left front,
Yeah.
and then you picked up stitches across there to the back,
Yes.
and then you knitted across the back.
Yes. And then I
And
finished.
then you picked up stitches across the front, I mean,
Yes.
across the side. And
Yes.
now that's where your BOR is placed. That's your beginning of round.
And that's right there.
Okay. And you've knitted farther than that?
Yes, when it's like 64, I'm supposed to be knitting. I did oh, geez.
I'm going to make a suggestion for how you can look at that.
Sure.
There's a good video that Suzanne Bryan did on correcting a mistake on your cast on, and it's where you can drop down and pick up and correct, and it looks like you're on the second row after your cast on. So
Oh, yes, it looks like
if
you're
you
on the
look
front of
at-
your neck. That's where it looks like. You're
yeah,
right.
if you look at that video, it may show you how to correct that without having to rip anything back. It's a very cool method. So do you know Suzanne Bryan?
I don't, but let me write it down and I'll chase it
It's
down.
on YouTube.
It's YouTube, and the channel is called Knitting with Suzanne Bryan, I believe. Is that right?
Yes. But it'll just be, search on YouTube for Suzanne Bryan correcting a cast on.
SUSAN.
No.
SUZANNE, Suzanne Bryan, BRYAN.
Correct.
Because I
Okay.
found that's a really, I'm not had to use it, but I thought, boy, that's a really good one if you get all the way around on a large sweater and there's something wrong with you
Yeah.
miss the cast on. So that may help you identify what's going on there.
Okay. I'll go back and then I'll check that after we get all done. I think that will be helpful. But I was right to see that that's not correct.
Yeah, you shouldn't have a hole.
Okay. Okay.
Right, Frank?
That's
And I
right.
just thought it wasn't tight enough or something, but it's clearly an error of some kind. Okay.
You might have dropped a stitch there. So count.
And
your
I know how to fix a drop stitch, so I know how to go back.
Count your stitches between your two markers on the front and see if the count is right or if it's one less. And that
It
may
should be like
helpful.
6, that's the one that should be 64. Oh, well,
I'm
you
not-
don't know that because it's,
I'm not looking at your pattern now. So.
right, okay. That I think I can figure out.
But
Yeah.
good catch early.
Yeah, yes, it's a good time to catch it.
Not me.
Not me.
I hope you feel better, Frank.
Thank you very much.
Spend the weekend in bed.
Well, I've spent most of the week in bed. I'm trying to get my energy back now. I still have a little bit of sniffles, but it's not bad at all. But it's the lack of energy that is just
Yeah.
really
Is there
wiping
a
me
lot of
out now.
congestion in your lungs?
No, very little.
Okay.
Are you
It's all in
sleeping?
my upper chest.
Uh-huh.
I mean, upper neck,
Mhm.
upper, all
Your
in my
head.
nose and throat.
Yeah.
My voice is affected, but
Are you sleeping?
fairly well, not too bad.
Good.
In general, I don't sleep real well. I wake up 1 or 2 times in the night and sometimes have trouble getting back to sleep.
Birthdays do that.
What's that?
Birthdays do that.
Yes, birthday. That's right. Birthdays do that. And I've accumulated a few.
That's a good thing.
Yes. And I plan to accumulate a few more. Maris, I have to apologize to you. I
What?
actually received this packet from you right before I left for Europe, and I couldn't do anything on it for 2 weeks. And then all week I've been thinking, I have to get to it. I have to get to it, but I don't feel well. So
No.
it's delayed almost another week. So
Don't worry about it.
I'm going to, my goal is to get that done next and then put out a newsletter.
Well, take your time. Don't rush through it.
Yeah. I'm so glad you got back to it after taking
I
so
know.
long.
Yeah. I don't know. I was working for a while, away from home, and
Uh-huh.
when COVID came, then I stopped because I have type 1 diabetes, so I didn't want to be out in the public, and
Oh, yeah.
I've been at home now, so I figured it was time to get it off my knitting room. And I ended up working with a mentor through the Facebook group, through the TKGA group that Donna started. And it was a
Oh.
wonderful thing.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Oh.
she didn't tell me things, but like we would meet every other week and she would say, okay, give me a goal for next time,
Oh, I didn't know how that mentorship program worked.
Well, that's the way my partner and I worked, and it
I
was
see.
so helpful.
Oh,
So
that's great.
yes.
Yeah, I thought about that program and then I thought, because I'm now in boot camp 3 of Suzanne's, I've done enough swatches. I want to knit. I want to make sweaters.
Yes.
I don't need any more swatches. And it's time. It's a long commitment, and
Yeah.
I want to be knitting. I want to be making stuff.
Well, my motivation was I didn't know very much about knitting, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And all
Yeah.
of a sudden this program said, yeah, we'll teach you to knit and teach you everything there is that you need to know. And by the end, you'll be writing your own patterns. And I said, that's never going to happen. Not me. No, never. But I wasn't even sure I was qualified for the program because, you know, there is no prerequisite exactly. They have some suggestions of what you should be able to do. And I said, I'm kind of do those things, so I guess I'll be okay. So I started it, and then I realized later I probably was in over my head, but I was so into it. I worked on it every day for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't believe how much I was learning. And then the process produced some nice things that I liked. And it's not all swatches, you know, you do have.
Yeah,
some
I know.
projects.
I just have a limited amount of time for knitting, and
Yeah, well, that's the
and
reason to
these
do what you like to do.
the boot camps have been really good, and I've
Yeah.
really learned a lot that I
I'm sure.
absolutely didn't know I didn't know, like you say.
Yeah.
And but I want to have fun making things and not stressing out about classes and deadlines. And
Oh, that's what it's all about.
so
Everybody, I'm going to go check out Suzanne Bryan and say goodbye to you all.
Okay.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
David.
good
Hey, we
luck.
just got a new person join us. Walter, say hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi. Do you
Hi.
know you came in right as we were about to say goodbye?
That's okay. I just checked you out. I'm starting your baby sweater, so that's why I seen the video, so I was going to look.
I see. Well, we're here to help and answer any questions that you want. And we meet
Okay.
every week.
Thank you very much.
So feel free to come back. Where do you live?
I live in Long Island.
Oh, great.
I'm out in the end there, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome, Walter. It's a fun
thank
group.
you.
And there are several people who are usually here who are missing today, but it's not a huge group, as you can see.
No,
But we get to know each other and enjoy spending time together.
I will come back again and see you all.
All right.
Love
See
to
you
have
soon.
you.
Thank
It's
you.
a fun group.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Frank. See you next
Stay
week.
well, Frank.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you next week.
See ya.
All right.